After balling out in our first 4 games and earning the starting job at free safety and kick returner, we still hadn't earned a scholarship. This made me consider redshirting for the remainder of the season and transferring with 4 years of eligibility. Luckily, we had a bye week coming up, so I took advantage of the extra time to sit down with Coach Creighton and discuss my future with the program. He told me if I continued to play the way I have been, he would have a scholarship ready for me soon. We still had a lot to improve on at free safety, and getting game experience as a starter at the Division I FBS level is simply an outstanding opportunity that we can't pass up. That led me to make the decision to stay at Eastern Michigan for the remainder of the year and finish out playing all of our games, which brings us to Game 5. Starting out on the first defensive play of the game on the road against Buffalo, I would make a nice tackle on the running back and immediately follow it up with a huge hit on the QB, which gives us our first punt return opportunity. And when I looked down from catching the ball, I saw nothing but green grass to the left side. Watch my teammate get this crazy pancake block, and this is just one of those plays you know they're going to get ripped in the film room after the game. On the following series, my teammate would hit the quarterback as he was throwing and give us another opportunity at returning a kick. We were still pretty pumped up about the first return and wanted to do it again, and watch how my teammates make every single block I need, giving me only one defender to beat, which we would, and walk it in for our second punt return touchdown of the game. After that play, we were flying around the field and feeling great about our ability to make plays for the team. And at this point, you can tell Buffalo's offense is really struggling, but that meant more opportunities for us to get our third punt return touchdown. Now they kicked this punt to the right sideline, but we still saw a lot of green grass to the left, so I cut it back and we were moving with a mission as we absolutely trucked this defender, bounced it on the outside, and if we had a little bit more speed, we could have outran 30 and put our name in the record books forever. In the fourth quarter, they would start to push to make a little bit of a comeback, but we were able to lock them down and secure the W to improve to 3-2 on the season. After that game, Coach took the team to watch the Lions, and he said he had a huge announcement to make. And after a performance like that, I was positive he was going to put me on scholarship. So here's what he had to say.
I want to present a full ride athletic scholarship to our senior wide receiver, Jerron Johnson.
So unfortunately, it wasn't for me, but I was still happy for my teammate, and we still had a long season ahead of us. Next week, we have a hard game on the road at Michie Stadium against Army, and we knew going into it, based on the type of offense they run, that we would have a chance to get a lot of tackles this game. Trying to continue on the punt performance from last week, we would catch this one, get on the inside, slip a tackle, then bounce it out, and unfortunately, 31 would run us down, but we'd still get a nice 23-yard return. And I'm not gonna lie, early on, this offense was definitely giving us a little bit of trouble. As I misfit this hole, I'd have to run down the quarterback to get our first tackle of the game. At the start of the second quarter, we were still up 7-0, and the defense started making a lot of really nice adjustments to Army's offense. They even tried going play action and throwing it over the middle, but we were there, we read it perfectly and make a nice tackle. Near the end of the second half, they were still driving the ball downfield, but we were there to make nice big hits on the quarterback if he tried to scramble, and then we would follow it up by sealing the edge on the running back, preventing him from getting the first down. To my surprise, late in the second quarter, they were still trying to throw the ball, but the quarterback clearly didn't know his read because he tucks and runs it. He gets a nice run, gets to the goal line, but we come in and lay a huge hit, forcing a fumble. My teammate would secure the turnover, getting us a huge amount of momentum right before the second half. From there on, we had their offense locked in, and I was making great tackle for losses like this. Unfortunately, they definitely put an emphasis on special teams this week because this punt return would go nowhere. But you already know our main job is on defense, and we would make the hit of the game on this play. My teammate would pick it up, nearly getting into the end zone for a defensive touchdown, but getting tackled at the half-yard line, where we'd then have to watch the offense punch it in to take a 17-0 lead. By the end of the fourth quarter, they were still trying to pass the ball, and it was clear they didn't have much experience at it because they would throw it right to my teammate, and we would secure the W with that play. In the following week's game against Ohio, we would start it off hot with this huge hit on the scrambling quarterback. Coach said we're going to be in a lot of man this week, and that's something I definitely need to improve upon, but we do a nice job right here. By the end of that drive, they would dial us up really nicely on this play. I would get blocked, and the quarterback would walk it into the end zone to tie it up. We'd get a chance to get our first kick return touchdown of the season. We see a really nice lane open up, but unfortunately it would collapse, but we still set the offense up nicely. Later on in the second quarter, we were still running a lot of man coverage, and I'm not gonna lie, number 3 was cooking me. And their OC must have noticed because on the next play, they would come right at me running an out route, and we were there to make the tackle, but those are huge interception opportunities we need to take advantage of. We'd still stop them, but the offense would give them the ball back with 40 seconds left, and we would recognize quarterback scramble, come down, and deliver this potential game-changing tackle, forcing the fumble, and our teammate jumps over the ball and misses it. So they end up recovering, and we stayed tied through the first half. And for For some reason, it just seemed like plays were coming my way this game and we were getting fired up with our team over it. On the contrary, we were still getting cooked in man coverage, and that's definitely something to focus on in the offseason. Luckily, having played quarterback, I can tell when a quarterback wants to run, and we would come down and deliver another huge hit on him. Late in the fourth quarter, this play was for the game, and I would recognize the run up the middle, come down, and absolutely stuff the running back to get the turnover on downs. Offense wouldn't capitalize, and we would go to OT where we are able to hold them to a field goal, leaving it in the hands of the offense, which surprisingly, they would actually win the game for us. We would improve to 5-2 on the season and get player of the game with 11 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. In week 8, we are back on the road again against Northern Illinois, who was 1-6. And I think as a defense, we underestimated these guys because the quarterback came out dotting us up and we were not off to a great start. It doesn't help either that my teammate wouldn't let me return kicks. Our first defensive play would come on the speed option where we would make a really nice block shed and come down and lay a big hit on the quarterback. And I think that rattled his head a little bit because he would try me on the next play and we would get a huge interception. My guys were definitely happy for me after that one. Offense would turn that into 3 points and we would continue to make plays, getting a nice tackle for loss here. That wouldn't last long as they're able to drive down the field and score right at the end of the second quarter. Me and my teammate would cover this speed option to perfection, but at this point the Northern Illinois QB was just way too locked in. He would continue to drop dimes on us. Our next big opportunity to make a play would come on this punt return, and we would have a lot of room to work to the left side. We would bounce it out and get a huge return, getting tackled inside the 25. Unfortunately, the offense wasn't able to do anything, and after a bad fit here, the running back was able to burst up the middle and take this run to the house, handing us our third loss on the season, and it came against a 1-6 team. Next week against Toledo, we were definitely not going to make the same mistake twice, losing to a 1-win team, and I would start it off with a pretty solid return. In the first series, the quarterback was going to try me, and I think if he threw a better ball here, we would have got a pick. We'd follow that up with excellent eyes in the backfield and go downhill to absolutely level the quarterback. Then on 3rd and 7, coach called a perfect coverage because we were in man on the running back against the screen, and we would come down and make another big tackle, almost getting a safety. Those two plays led to this punt return, and we had a decent blocking setup but just couldn't get through it. But the offense was set up in the red zone. As per usual, the offense couldn't put any points on the board, so we had to take matters into our own hands, seeing this dig and jumping it, getting the first turnover of the day. Late in the third quarter, we were only up 10-3, and we were still flying around the field making plays. But in the fourth quarter, we would make the play of the game, jumping this slant route and getting our second interception. And for a second here, I thought I was going to have room to bounce it on the outside and return it for 6. So not this time, but hopefully one day we'll get our first pick 6. On our next drive, I thought I was going to get my third interception here, but I get stuck on my teammate and I just can't get over there in time. Luckily, the offense was able to put another field goal on the board and spare them little time on the clock, giving them one last chance on this Hail Mary play. But as you can see, I am the only one back here, and it is 3-on-1. But we would dive in the air, making a spectacular play on the ball, knocking it from the wide receiver's hands and saving our defense the embarrassment of a Hail Mary loss. After that performance, coach called me into his office and finally had my scholarship ready to go on his desk. We are starting to establish ourselves as the top free safety in college football, and with potentially 5 games left in the season, could definitely secure a spot on a Power 5 team. Coach doesn't want me to leave, but what do you guys think I should do? Make sure to let me know down in the comment section below if there's any specific team you'd like to see me play for. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.